You can find the Street and Savory food truck serving lunch in Branch and Blade Brewery, and a few hours later serving customers dinner on Main Street. That's because, unlike other food trucks in Keene, Street and Savory is mobile.
We have the advantage of not being tied to a really limiting business structure because we have the freedom to sort of evolve and change every day.
But changing locations isn't as easy as driving from here to there. That's because of city ordinances regulating mobile food vendors. Rita says he learned that in order to serve food past 7 p.m., the city of Keene needs to review each vending location, an impossible requirement for a mobile vendor who spends only a few hours at a time at each location.
We rapidly learned that 80% of our vision was not something that we could execute.
Rita went to City Hall last month in an effort to work with the city on updating the ordinance to be more accommodating of his business model. The city is receptive to the idea.
What we heard is they need an extended time into the evening so that they could serve the dinner crowd. Right now the time limit doesn't give them enough time to do that. So we will be proposing increasing the hours till 10 p.m. during the week and 11 p.m. on the weekends. And the 11 p.m. ties in well with our noise ordinance.
Dragon says that the city is also looking into creating a designated spot for vendors, with a spot near the college having been specifically requested by Rita.
So I think this is a relatively new thing. I think people have always, sold items, and maybe the regulations used to work for that, but the way that people are selling items now has changed. And so we need to make sure that our ordinances are also changing with the times.
To capitalize on Keene's popularity as a food truck destination, the city's Parks and Recreation Department is planning a food truck festival for the 1st of June in Fuller Park. Vincent Moore, KAC-TV. Tristan Slicer started feeling ill in late February.
It just sort of hit me like a truck, and the next day I felt like absolute garbage.
He developed a cough, sore throat, and body pains, and at that point realized that he was coming down with the flu.
And so I called a friend asking if they could bring something over to me, some just basic cold and flu medicine. And they said I shouldn't go to the Health and Wellness Center because I already had something and there wouldn't be much they could do, and I would just sort of bring the germs there.
Health experts say he did the right thing. Coordinator for Wellness Education at the Center for Health and Wellness, Tiffany Matthews, says that students with typical flu symptoms can treat themselves at home.
If it's just your typical flu symptoms, then there's a lot of stuff that people just have in their medicine cabinets, like the acetaminophen, the ibuprofen, like I was saying, but also just hydrating and resting, taking some time off. And then that could help them get back on their feet.
Slicer says that he relied on friends on campus to acquire those supplies.
Knowing people on campus made getting through it a lot easier. Like having friends who could bring me things, or because I couldn't really get out of bed. And so just a simple thing like, hey, could you grab me some medicine or bring me some water, stuff like that.
Matthews says that students can take preventative measures against contracting the flu by eating healthy, staying hydrated, and above all,
the best way to prevent from getting the flu is definitely to get the flu shot. And so, students can continue to get that, and we encourage that, all the way up until May when it's suspected that the flu season will end.
Matthews says the best way to keep your hands germ-free is to wash them with warm water and soap. But hand sanitizer is a preferable alternative. Vincent Moore, KAC-TV. And I'm Vincent Moore. Thanks for tuning in this evening. The Monadnock International Film Festival is right around the corner. MONIF kicked off the event with their annual launch party at the Courtyard Marriott Wednesday evening. Attendees were greeted at the door where they checked in. Appetizers and drinks were served throughout the night. Prizes were raffled off to those who bought tickets. Senator Jay Kahn made a guest appearance where he spoke about the success of the festival in the last few years. The main event of the night was a sneak peek at the films in the festival. The Monadnock International Film Festival will run from Friday, April 26th to Sunday, April 28th. Folks in downtown Keene are eagerly awaiting the new updates on the Elsie Priest Park. KAC-TV's Mayavada Terra reports on the progress of the park. Elsie Park is named after a local missionary who worked in China from the 1920s to the late 50s. The city of Keene is planning some changes to the popular recreation area Goose Pond. The Sentinel reports these changes will include repairing a dam and berm, improvements to the dirt road leading to the pond, and the addition of a new parking area for guests. Keene civil engineer Brett Rusnock says the renovations will begin later this spring and will continue into the summer. High school seniors making their decisions about college are visiting the Keene State campus. This is what a student visit day looks like. Students and their families get to explore campus on their own. They also get to meet with future professors at the major fair. Keene State's Director of Admissions says these events are beneficial to everyone involved. There are 2 more of these events scheduled this year, Friday, April 12th and Saturday, April 27th. We'll be back next week at this same time. We'll see you then, and have a good evening.